We got it. We got it. Ah, shit. Okay, now we need to possibly use the rockets. No. Yes. Come on. No. Come on. No. Ah. Oh, God damn it. Wait, we can do it. Oh! Why do you hate me? Oh. Oh no. I'm not crying. I've got soot in my eyes. We got it. Hello world, it's BIRDOPREY.
Violence stop. Good shooting, Mr. Scott.
It's the anti-checker.
We will return to your scheduled programming shortly, or we are currently experiencing technical difficulty.
Hey guys, Michael J. Crawford, the anti-checker here. Man, what a freaking day. I am glad that's over. Oh, and let me see. Mr. Miles has a favor to ask of me. Sure, Miles, I will do that. Let me bring it up here so we can get it ready. This is, for those of you that don't know, Mr. Miles, it's already on his channel, but he made a fun little video, but we wanted to test to see if it sets off the copyright bots. So we'll find out here.
Well, I'm a badass cowboy living in the cowboy days. Wicky, wicky, strike, yo, yo, bang, bang. Me and Artemis, light frog, go, says, damn, a high act from the big metal spider. Wicky, 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 fresh cowboy from the west side. Wicky, wicky, strike, yo, yo, bang, bang. Me and Artemis, light frog, go, says, damn, a frog, party, piece of pants, go, down.
So yeah, that, we'll see what happens. If my live stream suddenly ends, you'll know that's why. All right, so let me get into the chat for a second, and then I'll tell you guys about my lovely day, and then we will be signing off. This is not going to be a particularly long live stream, but I just wanted to let you guys know where I was at with everything today, because today was quite a fun-filled day. But first of all, Roxal was first in the house. Josh Street second. Resolute third with hello. Thomas says hi. Cinnabon says hi. Chronos says yay first. Well, not quite. Thomas says just happened to look at my iPad. And Mecha Random is here.
It's BIRDOPREY.
Violence stop. Good shooting, Mr. Scott.
Thank you so much, Mecha. I appreciate the $2 there. And so let me, man, now I can't see where I was at because that threw me off. And hold on, my computer is all wacky and stuff. All right, so, and what did Mecha said? Mecha said, hi guys, just learned I can stop on a nickel and squeeze $5 out of it. I never have to work again, not like I work in the first place. Bye. Well, that's different. So Mecha can stop on a nickel and squeeze $5 out of it. I would love to know that trick, Mecha. If you can do a video on your channel showing us how to do it so we can all retire, that would be freaking awesome if you're still around. All right, back to the regular chat. Rock Solid says, don't forget people, smash the like button, share via social, set chat to live chat, donate if you can, subscribe to a good YouTube channel, and down with Karoga. Absolutely. Kronos like the snowflake music. BIRDOPREY is saying, what's wrong, Bird? Why in the world would you possibly be sighing? I don't.
Oh no.
What, Bird? Are you okay? What's wrong? You crying, Bird? Are you crying? Oh, Bird, don't
I'm
cry.
not crying.
You are crying.
I've got soot in my eyes.
Don't tell me that was soot in your eye. You were crying. Anyway, why are you playing Bird's sex tape? Well, because it's on the internet. Jaegerbomb says, okay. John DeMarco says, hi. T-Berg says, Bird is having a bowel movement. Cronus is saying, wow, Bird. Kongu saying, hey. Rock Solid best intro ever. And then Thomas put $1.99 into the chat. I'm sorry, I didn't say it earlier. And it says, Anti-Tricker, stop watching Pornhub. Believe me, if that's what was on Pornhub, I would definitely never be on Pornhub. That is for sure. Yes. Thank you so much, Thomas. I appreciate it. Bird says, audio from last night's stream. Don't lie, Bird. Mike says, greetings from Columbus, Ohio. Good to see you, Mike. Cinnabon. I'm not sure what that emoji is supposed to be, but it looks like a girl squinting, but it says laughing. Okay. I listened, but in-game building. Excellent, T-Berg. Yeah, sorry, I went into Space Engineers for just a couple of minutes, a few minutes ago, just to get the projector set up for building the Goliath, but I don't have the energy to play tonight. I am just exhausted, which we'll get into that in just a second. Bird, was that the AOC or one of the other leftists here? No, that I believe he was with Nancy Pelosi. Is that Doomcock in the aquarium? No, that was Bird of Prey 5, RMP. First, Purple Crat to chat? Wow, no idea what that means. Hello, fellow nerds. Glad to be here. Good. I'm glad you are here, Sci-Fi. Darren says, yay. Chrono says, here, I missed last night's Deloge and had to see the storyteller. Well, yeah, that's... Sorry. Thomas says, listened several times, tried to get the number of yes and no's right for the quote. There's a lot in there. Thomas, that wasn't Pornhub. It was from Bird's sex tape he aired last night. Yes. All right, so let me get through. I'm going to get through just the chats that are addressed to me. Then I'm going to tell you about my day, and then we'll wrap it up here. So I think everyone here who can make YouTube videos should make a response to Anti-Trekker's top 5 TOS episodes video, and so we can tell him how wrong he is or isn't. Actually, that would be fun. If any of you guys that do, I would love to see if you do a response to it. I think it'd be fun to kind of get the nerd community and we can to do that, because we're going to be doing every Trek show over time. So just starting with TOS because it was the first show. So absolutely, throw out your top 5s. I will watch it, and I will definitely, spread the word. We can get a little bit of views going back and forth between us all. That would be a lot of fun. Mr. Wolverine says, howdy, hi. What was that from a voyeur thing? Staying for a wee bit before After Dark starts. No, that was Bird of Prey, who inadvertently did a live stream while he was having coitus. That Cartman audio is horrendous. Yes, it is. Tom says, I don't see Mecca. Mecca's invisible. Where's Mecca? I don't know. Well, she did a donation via Streamlabs, so that doesn't pop up in the regular chat. And so I assume she's lurking, but she also finished it by saying bye, so maybe she was just stopping by. She saw that I was streaming or something. Unless she puts a comment in right now that I didn't see because I'm 5 minutes behind already. Andre's here from Bosnia. Good to see you, my friend, as always. Someone has obviously hacked Mecca's account. What? Mecca shows up here every now and then, Darren? Jeez, you don't have to be mean. just because it's funny. I have lots of friends that have channels way bigger than mine, and yeah, I just suck. Bird was done in, it was done in Streamlabs, yes. Night Breeze says, hey, Anti-Checker and everyone. Hey, Night Breeze. Mr. Wolverine says, Anti, I'm sorry to hear about your friend. It's never easy good thing to go through. Yeah, I'll tell you, Monday was a very, very difficult day for me, but thank you. What happened to Delosian Joe? We're working on getting the Delosians back in action. That will take a little bit of time, though. BIRDOPREY says, so how much are you on Pornhub? No, I've never been to Pornhub. I don't know anything about that site, but, you know, that I understand you are displayed on Pornhub quite a bit. Darren says, yeah, we want to know more about this Pornhub. You're so... Oh, jeez. See, never go along with a joke. You'll never hear the end of it. Your office is mostly completed. Just follow the path next to the cryopods. Oh, very cool, Thomas. I will just definitely check it out. Man. Typo meant to say great. Oh, okay.
Hello, world. It's BIRDOPREY.
Fire in the sky.
Oh,
Shooting Mr. Scott.
Gets me going every time. Thank you, Alexander. We are now friends on Discord. Yes, we are, Alexander. Now, just so you know, with Discord stuff, I will always get back to you if you send me a message on Discord, but sometimes it takes me a little bit of time. It just depends. Today, I was out all day. I saw you sent me a couple messages, but I haven't gone in and read them yet. But yeah, absolutely. Discord is a great way to get hold of me, or antitrekker.com. I did show up here just to hear about your day. All right, Kronos, I'll get to it in just a second. Very happy to see people enjoyed the top 5. Me too. And so now, RMP says, hearing you on a brand new 7.1 surround system, please don't fart. I'll probably hear it in the back speaker. Yeah, we wouldn't want that, would we? We would definitely not want that. However, you know, I'd be curious to see, you know, if Bird happens to sing later. I hope that doesn't destroy your 7.1 surround system. Crow says, wow, you gave Bird both barrels. I did. But, all right, so my day today. So this was a crazy, crazy day. This morning, after I did the brief live stream this morning, I took Mrs. Anti-Checker. She had to get a colonoscopy because that's something everybody that once they turn 50 has to do, and Mrs. Anti-Checker just turned 50, so she got to do that. Which, you know, she did fine. Nothing major to report there. Nothing out of the ordinary, really. So... But then, now here's where things kind of got crazy. So the colonoscopy...
Hello, world. It's BIRDOPREY.
Fire in the sky. Good shooting, Mr. Scott.
So, Mrs. Anti-Checker donated $2, says, we're getting divorced. I'm moving in with Dr. Alex. You can keep the dogs. You know, the problem with that is that I would believe that Mrs. Anti-Checker might do something like that as a joke. But I also know that Mrs. Anti-Checker would not bother to put $2 into that. And
Hello, world. It's
BIRDOPREY. Fire in the sky. Good shooting, Mr. Scott.
All right, so I know Mrs. Anti-Checker would not donate $2 to me through Streamlabs because if she wanted to give me $2, she would just come into the room and hand me $2. So I'm not too worried about her running off with Dr. Alex. More likely, that was Dr. Alex. But thank you, whoever you are, Mrs. Anti-Checker. Meanwhile, Nightbreeze also put $1 in, wants the Hypno-Turd. I will put the Hypno-Turd on in just a couple minutes, Nightbreeze, but let me finish my little tirade here first. All right, so... Here's what happened. So after the live stream, Miss Anti-Checker did her colonoscopy. Then the problem was the colonoscopy was scheduled at 10:30. My psych eval for the insurance people was scheduled for noon, and we knew we were going to be cutting it a little tight. But unfortunately, they started the colonoscopy a little bit late. And so we're getting like right up to the wire. I couldn't miss the psych eval because it's incredibly difficult to get an appointment for that kind of a thing. So I went to the, I basically went to the people and said, look, I have an appointment in like 15 minutes. Is she going to be coming out soon? And they were like, well, you have to stay until she's done. I said, well, I also have to go to this other appointment. And it's not, so I can't have to be at two places at the same time. We were getting into a little bit of a fight, but then Mrs. Inkchecker came out. I was about 10 minutes late for the psych eval, but fortunately the psychologist, Dr. Quinn, yes, that Dr. Quinn, was actually very, very nice about it and let me come in 10 minutes late so that we could do it. So the psych eval, and just so you know, it's not like they're trying to see if I'm crazy or competent to stand trial or something. It was basically trying to see, because the problem with my being off work for this extended period of time, doing all the stuff with my back and knee, is that while the pain is what's driving me crazy, right? I really, you guys have no idea. I could not, like, if one of you was on Skype with me trying to argue with me, I would completely lose it. I have like zero emotional control right now. So if something, I can get set off on just about anything. And in fact, I kind of yelled at the receptionist about the whole appointment time thing when I was asking about it. And I had to apologize afterwards, because it's like when you're constantly being agitated, it's very hard to control your anger. I'm not a violent guy, but you guys have heard me sometimes when I go on a tirade. Imagine me doing that at the doctor's office and people are looking and freaking out. So I have to be very careful of that. And my job involves having conversations that can be, we'll just say, difficult. And so the problem is that if I'm talking to someone who is in an extremely agitated state and they are lashing out at me, which is a normal response based on, what they might be talking about, I have to then, stay at the voice of reason, be calm, be collected, never lose my cool, and I can't do that. So the psych eval was because while the doctors can say, here's the type of injury, here's the treatment plan and all that, when they say, well, can he work? Their answer is, well, what's his job? He can't lift more than this much. He can't do this type of physical activity. But physical activity is not a problem at all, because I don't do any physical activity on the work other than typing on a computer and stuff like that. I don't like lift heavy boxes or anything because I work from right here. Physically, it's no more difficult than what I'm doing right now. It's more of a strain on the old noggin, but physically it's nothing. So the psych eval was to demonstrate that I am not in a place right now where I can hold down a conversation of that type. Fortunately...
Hello world, it's BIRDOPREY.
Fire with Scott.
So, Dr. Quinn...
Shooting Mr. Scott.
And I sincerely doubt it's that Dr. Quinn, because I actually
world,
told...
it's BIRDOPREY.
Fire with Scott.
All right, who's going crazy with the usernames now? By the way, whoever's doing that,
Shooting Mr. Scott.
I got to say, whoever's doing that, I really appreciate your sense of humor, and thank you, because I definitely could use the laugh today. Believe me. But Dr. Quinn donates $1 and says, please go easy on Michael. He's on the brink of a breakdown. He's only allowed to use safety scissors. I tell you, sometimes I feel that way. And the Telosians donated $1 saying Mr. Miles is allowed his wrench. Well, Mr. Miles has his wrench. That's what you guys don't understand. And he's very proud of his wrench because he built it himself. Anyway, so... and then
Hello world, it's BIRDOPREY.
Fire with Scott.
Alexander says, look at MCU at Maine naked to calm down. Now, that doesn't work for me because, I'm sorry, Alexander, I know you are absolutely love Marissa Tomei, but that MCU at Maine naked is not my thing. Anyway, so the important thing was basically to be able to have a doctor document that this part of my job I can't do. And since it's not a physical limitation, but rather a mental limitation right now because of the pain, I needed to have a mental health specialist do it. And while I've been seeing a therapist for the past few weeks, a therapist is not an actual doctor. A therapist, there are several kinds of therapists. You know, there are counselors, social workers, and they have varying degrees, as far as, bachelor's, master's, etc. But for something like this, for an evaluation, you have to have a PhD level. So you have to have an actual psychologist or psychiatrist. And so that's what that was all about. So that went for about an hour, while Mrs. Antitrekker was basically recovering from the anesthetic in the psychologist's office while I was getting the evaluation done. So then when we finished that, we grabbed a little bit of chicken because Mrs. Antitrekker hadn't eaten in 24 hours, headed home, ate the chicken while watching an episode of Futurama, and then immediately got back in the car because I had to go to my doctor's appointment this afternoon. And in that one, they laid me out on a table and they injected me with a couple of things. There's some kind of painkiller in there and a type of steroid. I don't know exactly how it works, and they did basically it's a left side epidural is where the injection was. And epidural, I didn't know this until today, but epidural is actually a place, not a specific type of medication or anything. Now, I will tell you, if you've never gotten a shot directly into your spine,
Hello, world. It's
BIRDOPREY,
BIRDOPREY
fire
5.
at the sky.
and Alexander puts another $2
Shooting
in.
Mr. Scott.
And what says, watch a mashup of Neelix to calm down. I don't think Neelix would calm me down at all. I really don't. After this live stream, here's my plan. I still have some chicken left over from this afternoon. So as soon as I'm done with this live stream, I'm going to put that chicken in the microwave. I'm going to climb into bed. And me and Mrs. Antitrekker are going to watch a few episodes of Futurama until I pass out. That's my plan. Anyway, so if you've never had an injection into the spine, it is it's hard to describe. It's a very unique sensation.
Hello, world. It's BIRDOPREY 5.
Bird of Prey 5 donated $1 and says, Karoga admits defeat. The war is over. Karoga has lost. Thank you, Bird of Prey, for admitting I will accept your surrender. So it's a very strange sensation, and I'll tell you, it was really, if you remember the Incredible Hulk, the Edward Norton Hulk film, when they were injecting the super soldier serum into Blonsky's spine, and there was that moment of a popping sound and the look on his face. That's it right there. That was that was the look on my face. And so now after the injection and stuff, I will tell you, my legs feel so weird. They genuinely feel like I've been running for weeks on end. I mean, they feel like rubber right now. Just they feel very achy and sore. And they said that's normal at this point. And so now we got to move forward from there. So then, now Joshua came with us to that appointment because then immediately upon finishing the injection, we drove to the church because Joshua had an appointment at our church with our pastor. They were going to talk about some stuff. And so while he did that, I got on the phone with Sedgwick, the insurance people, to give them the psychologist's information so that they can get the paperwork from her to hopefully get the claim moving forward and all that. Then, after Joshua's appointment, Joshua wanted some Wendy's hamburgers, and I grabbed a drink at Wendy's, and we drove home, took the dog for a quick walk, and here I am. And that, my friends, was my day today. So Now, I'm going to catch up on the chat, and then we're going to test out that RMP's surround system in just a minute. RMP, I hope you're still here. Let me know if you're still here. So Darren says, how the hell did you pass a psych eval? Well, I don't know that I passed it yet, so we'll find out. And let's see. Resolute says, get to know Pornhub. It's going to be the only place to post videos once YouTube goes crazy with the ban hammer. Oh, jeez. Yeah. Hey, guys, let's talk about Star Trek. Yeah, no. M is here. Says, hello, Chuckers. Hey, M. Alexander says, my Discord channel speaks about scientific subjects. You should come often. I don't know that I believe you, Alexander.
Hello, world. It's BIRDOPREY.
Fire in the sky.
Alexander puts another couple of bucks
Shooting
in.
Mr. Scott.
It says, calm down. Final Frontier is a masterpiece. I'm pretty, you know, I've been injected with a lot of stuff, but nothing so potent that it would actually make me agree with you. And Josh says, poor Mrs. Anti-Checker. Anti-Checker, why are you on, hold on, I'm so far behind here. Why are you on the stream and not down with her, waiting on her hand and foot? Well, first of all, she's fine. She's just relaxing a little bit, getting over the anesthetic. And she knows I was going to do a quick show to update you guys, and then we're going to relax for the rest of the night. That's the plan. And no, knocked out. You know, it's funny. I asked Dr. Quinn if she got a lot of Dr. Quinn medicine woman comments, and she said constantly, and it drives her absolutely nuts. Did you tell them about Discovery? I did not mention Discovery. Just say it. Mr. Miles says, fire escape, just to try and agitate me. Don't get me started, Miles. Kronos says, hey, Trigger, so you are easily triggered. Right now, absolutely. And so, you know what? And that's funny because, like, if you look at that Socialist Democrat convention where the people were freaking out over personal pronouns and applause or noise stimulate, that is almost how I feel right now, except I'm not just being stupid like them. I'm dealing with a lot of pain, and that's what's keeping me in a really, it's basically like if you're in a really, really bad mood, so somebody can just walk up and say, hey, and you're like, what? You know, that kind of thing. Ed Tracker, you rose holy hell at a receptionist. Who are you, my old man? I tell you, I know, I felt bad about it, and I did apologize to her afterwards. I explained, and she saw I was walking with a cane, and I said, look, I'm in a lot of pain. I'm really sorry for going off on you there, but I'm just dealing with a lot, and this has to do with that. Resolute says, sounds like you work for Verizon. I told you I will not comment on my employer, so point of personal privilege. Yeah, teacher goes on a red. Yes, exactly. And there's Alexander Super Chat saying, look at MCU at Main Naked to calm down. Just don't think that that's going to work for me. But, you know, I can think of someone else I'd like to see naked, but she's recovering from anesthesia right now. Nightbreeze says, customer service voice versus pain. Pain has a tendency to win. I have been there with my chest issues, praying for things to improve. Thank you, Nightbreeze. I truly, truly appreciate it. And I will tell you, I don't take like customer service calls, but I take calls that go beyond the customer service.
Hello, world. It's
BIRDOPREY.
BIRDOPREY.
Fire in the sky.
And Alexander, who's feeling very generous tonight. Thank you, Alexander.
Good shooting, Mr. Scott.
I do truly appreciate it, Alexander, and says you need Cybok to be freed of your pain. Now that I could get on board with. If I only knew where Cybok was so he could get rid of my pain, I am not Captain Kirk, and I'm not going to fight him on that. Anyway, but yeah, so the company I work for does have a customer service department, but I'm the person that they talk to when customer service ain't enough. And so I don't get pleasant calls. You know, that just, unfortunately. Personally, I would have loved getting a colonoscopy from Jane Seymour. I don't think I would love getting a colonoscopy from anyone, Darren. Trust me. I don't see Miles with a wrench. That's because Miles's wrench is not a virtual wrench like yours, Kronos. His is a physical wrench. This is a DDoS attack. Okay, why are you doing a denial of service attack against her? Oh, with all these donations?
Hello world, it's
BIRDOPREY.
BIRDOPREY.
Fire at Scott.
Oh, man. Now, best username so far.
Good shooting, Mr. Scott.
So CBS Star Trek Discovery donated $1 saying, Michael Burnham is the greatest character ever and will save the universe when those men finish destroying it. Well, CBS, you are dead wrong about that. That is for sure. You can always think of Bird of Prey 5 in a baby costume for a laugh. That is true. That would cheer me up for sure. What do you think, Bird? Do you think that would be fun? Just wondering. What, Bird? Oh, come on. It's not that bad. It's just you.
Oh, no.
No, that would be cute. All right. Let's see. Mr. Wolverine says, gotta go now, buddy. See you next time. Parting words. Love is like a fart. You have to force it. It's probably crap. Very good. Good night. And there is Alexander's watch a mashup of Neelix. Yeah, that would definitely not do that. Biopsy did that. Very painful. Yeah, Miss Antricker, she had a couple of polyps that they took for a biopsy. Nothing, like I can't even tell you how many they pulled out of me. So she'll get over it. And she feels fine. I mean, she is such a trooper. Mrs. Anti-Trekker is one of those people that has a freaking ridiculous pain threshold. So, and this is not a joke. She gave birth to our first child and then wanted to go shopping that day. That's just how she is. She, pain, it does not affect her like a human. So I'm convinced she's not entirely human. Bird is nuts. That is true. Sounds like a plan. Not sure what you're referring to there. Enter. Remember when Blonsky got some stuff injected in his spine in the Incredible Hulk? Was it like that? Yes. And I already said that a few minutes ago, but yes, that is exactly it. And then he said, ha, called it. Because Bird of Prey says, hashtag fake news. Kuroga never surrender. Hey, we have proof. You saw it pop up in the screen. It said Bird of Prey 5 donates $1 and said Kuroga admits defeat. Bird of Prey says, who drove to the church? I did. Because even though my legs feel like jelly, I didn't have anything put in me today that makes me loopy like an anesthesia. So Mrs. Antrekker was not, it wouldn't not have been a good idea for her to drive today.
Hello world, it's
BIRDOPREY. Fire at Scott.
Alexander being ridiculously generous. Thank you, Alexander. And says, how the Victorian baboon woman could help you. Well, I don't know that the Victorian baboon woman could actually help me on this one. But I suppose if if she's an expert masseuse or something, that would be good. I could really use a massage on my legs right now after those injections. Joshua likes some Square Wendy's burgers. He does. Plus, they got a $5 meal that's like a bacon burger plus chicken nuggets plus a drink and fries. So, yeah. Hector says, a little Cybok and we have dancing, spinning anti-trigger. Yes. Tentacle says, Cybok, what you need is to pow to give you a back massage. She is the best at treating back pains. To pow? I think you mean T'Pol. T'Pau was the old lady in Amok Time. T'Pol was the first officer of Enterprise. And Jane Seymour equals Dr. Quinn, medicine woman. Oh, okay, sorry. I never watched the show. I did not know that. So, sorry. Josh and Rebecca are here, well, one of them at least, and says, damn green-blooded bastard, that's his revenge for all those arguments he lost. Yes, I actually watched Star Trek 3 just the other day. I love that. But it was actually, he said, that green-blooded son of a bitch. That's what he said. Not green-blooded bastard. Auntie looks nice and comfy tonight. She deserves extra treats. Yes, she actually did. She was a real trooper because she doesn't like being home alone, and so I'm glad that she's
Hello
okay.
Hello world, it's
BIRDOPREY. Fire at Scott. Good shooting, Mr. Scott.
Shatner donated $2. Thank you, Shatner. I met William Shatner once. I didn't know he followed the channel. Says, I enjoyed the top 5. Actually, he said, I enjoyed the top 5. So thank you so much, Shatner. I appreciate it. And I'm glad that so far, like, not a ton of people are watching the video, but the people that watch it really seem to appreciate it. So it's not doing badly. It's just not doing great. But I'm glad that me and Miles were able to put out something a little more positive, because, boy, it's been a negative season for nerds. Your wife doesn't have a high pain threshold. She has a shopping addiction. No, she has a high pain threshold. Trust me. Keep in mind, we have 2 kids, both delivered naturally, no anesthetic, no drugs. Not because we were like, oh, we're going to be all natural or something. No, she just said, no, I don't need them. Do you think the CBS Viacom merger will affect Star Trek in any way? Honestly, Trek reviewer, no. And I know that a lot of people have been talking lately about Star Trek is saved because of the CBS Viacom merger. Until I see a radical change in attitude about Trek, I'm not going to buy it. Honestly, I think that they could, if they get rid of Kurtzman, bring in someone that actually understands and cares about Trek, sure. But that's the problem. The problem is not the name of the company on the door. The problem is Alex Kurtzman. They need to get rid of Kurtzman and bring in someone that understands the lore of Trek and understands why Trek is great. Not just, oh, we're going to do it different with bigger explosions, because that's not how to sell freaking Star Trek. The base should be named after Mrs. Anti-Trekker. No one would dare attack it. Ooh, not a bad idea. In fact, that's what we need. We'll put a beacon on the base because it's because Mrs. Anti-Trekker is our queen, so we could put that it's like the royal throne of Mrs. Anti-Trekker. To Paul, he goes, Vulcan neuropressure. Yes. And I would love to get some T'Pol neuropressure if it works half as well as Trip seemed to think it did. Darren says, T'Pol was also on Enterprise as a younger woman. She helped someone with their back. Did she? Oh, I didn't. Okay. I remember she was in the Forge, I believe, but I don't remember her helping someone with their back. So I just missed that detail. Wow, Shat donated. Well, yeah, me and William Shatner, we're good friends. Alexander says, Mrs. Antricker is a Mary Sue. She is, but she's a good one. My wife saw it for the first time last night. I forgot about that line. Oh, it's a great. I know Star Trek 3, in my opinion, is underrated. It's actually a really good movie. It's just, I think that it's overshadowed because Star Trek 2 was so mind-blowingly good. And Star Trek 3 was not as good as Star Trek 2, but it was definitely a good, solid film. And so I enjoyed it, and I think they did a good job with it overall, except that it is the film that ruined Klingons for me. But other than that, because I actually like Christopher Lloyd as Krug, but if you're going to do Klingons, they should have been freaking Klingons, not Romulans with Klingon skin. That video will continue to get views over the years, unlike the TNN videos. That's true. Yeah, I thought that the video would have twice the views easily. You can never tell. It's really hard to tell. But I actually, that's something that I want to, me and Miles, I think are in agreement. We want to do more videos that will have a lifespan, not just, oh, here's what's going on today. How about here, let's talk about things that, someone 2 years, 3 years, 5 years from now might be interested in seeing. Thomas says, Trek 3 is the weakest of that trilogy. If you're talking about the trilogy of 2, 3, 4, I disagree, actually. I think that of those 3, 4 is actually the weakest. Now, if you're going to rate the quote-unquote good movies, so 2, 3, 4, 6, I would put Star Trek 3 in third place after 2 and 6. Darren says, only 2 kids. My grandmother had 11 kids with no meds. She was pregnant every summer for 10 years. Your grandmother was freaking nuts then. Anti-Trekker for Star Trek writer-director. Thank you, Nightbreeze. I would love, you know what, they wouldn't have to make me a showrunner or writer-director, but just make me a consultant, you know, bring me in and say, and so that they can get a person who understands the lore. Particularly, and here's the thing, I wouldn't even want to work on Discovery. I'd pull one of you guys that I know is a big Next Gen fan to come in and work on, Picard, to work on Picard. I would honestly want to work on Discovery. Even though I hate the show, it's like, bring someone in that knows the TOS era. Or better yet, if the rumors are true and the Section 31 show is being replaced by a Pike show, put me in charge of that. I will give you a good show. And I will give you a show that feels like it's in the original series era of Trek. Let's see. I don't see how the merger could possibly help Trek in its current state of being. Yeah, that's the thing. The only thing that's going to help it is if the new CEO of CBS Viacom cleans house and gets rid of Kurtzman. And Josh and Rebecca just said, until CBS Viacom clean house in the writer's room and the producers, Star Trek is still in trouble. Agreed. That's what I just said. Answer, I was kidding about Young T'Pau helping someone with their back. Young T'Pau was hot, though. Okay, I did not know. I thought you were serious, but, you know, there's no sarcasm font. So, but thank you for clarifying on that. Bird of Prey 5 ruined Klingons for me. Nah, well, yeah, I could see that. Thomas says, Answer, so my question on Discord about Endgame. The producers said Thanos reproduced Pym particles for his ship. Yeah, okay, so that's... Thank you for mentioning that, Thomas. I forgot about that. So in Endgame, Thomas asked an interesting question. How did Thanos reduce the size of his ship and for the time travel trip? Because everybody had just enough Pym particles to get back in time and forward in time. And thank you so much.
Hello world, it's BIRDOPREY.
Fire in the sky. Good shooting, Mr. Scott.
And Steven puts in $5. Thank you so much. Says, happy the writer and current doctor supposedly got the boot. Perhaps Tennant getting back on board. Well, first of all, as far as getting rid of the current doctor, yes. But what we really need, is strong writing. I don't care about the gender of the doctor. I care about, are they going to tell good stories? As far as Tennant coming back, I don't think that's going to happen. I think that I heard that Tennant was going to come for the 60th anniversary episode where he's going to be like playing one of the past iterations of the Doctor, obviously. But I don't think Tennant's going to take over the role again. I do think they need to just find a new Doctor that people can enjoy, not turn Doctor Who into a freaking propaganda piece. It's horrible when they do this kind of stuff. Anyway, back to the Endgame thing. So they only had enough Pym particles for one round trip for everybody. Of course, Cap and Iron Man cheated a little bit by going back a second time, but they went to a place.
Hello world, it's BIRDOPREY.
Fire in the sky.
The anti-Trekker.
Good shooting, Mr. Scott.
So the anti-Trekker donated $1, saying, Stargate is superior to Star Trek. I've decided to give Farscape a second chance. Mr. Miles is the best chief editor on YouTube. The only problem is I know that that's fake because my name is not the-anti-Trekker. So, sorry, whoever you are, you've proven that you are that's fake. But thank you, Miles. So back to the Pym particle thing. So everybody basically had enough for 2 jumps. 1 jump back, 1 jump forward. Cap and Iron Man made 2 jumps back, but the second jump back, they went to a place where they could retrieve more Pym particles for the jump forward. Well, with Nebula, she was captured by Thanos, and evil Nebula used the Pym particle to jump forward with everybody else. So how did Thanos jump forward? And now what Thomas is saying, the producers say that Thanos reproduced the Pym particles for his ship. Maybe so, but then they should have had something like him. Because I remember there's a scene in the movie where she hands Thanos the Pym particle. Evil Nebula pulls the Pym particle off of good Nebula, gives it to Thanos. And he should have said something like, interesting. Have our science people reproduce this immediately. That's all you would need. 10 seconds, and it would have cleared that up. Kronos is always a trooper. Yes, Kronos is, in fact, a trooper. Darren says, do you think DS9 is responsible for the poor man's Star Wars style of Trek from Secret Hideout? In a certain way, yes, because, and I know I talked about it in my top 5, I like Sacrifice of Angels, don't get me wrong. I like the big battles in DS9, but they weren't well choreographed battles. They looked more like fighters rather than like a whole fleet of ships of the line going at it, which is too bad. However, and since those battles became legendary because television had never seen anything quite like that before, I think you're right. I think then today people are like, well, what if we make it even more kinetic? What if every ship has 8,000 shuttles and they're fighters? And no. Alexander says, I work 86 hours this week. Oh, man, that's tough, Alexander. I've been there, done that, and yeah, that sucks. BIRDOPREY says, I'm going to rate my top 5 TOS movies. Well, that's not very hard considering there are only 6 of them. Shatner donated to you. Oh my, absolutely. Yes. Shatner and I are good friends. All right, so let's see. Darren says, Star Trek 3 is the best odd-numbered Star Trek. It debuted so many things like the Klingon Bird of Prey, the Excelsior, the Oberth. That's true. All those came from Star Trek 3. And the Excelsior class and the Bird of Prey are probably the 2 most commonly used starships in all of Trek. If you think about it, the Excelsior shows up there are more Excelsior class starships that we see than I think any other class, and the Bird of Prey is probably the most common Klingon ship we see throughout the range of all of Trek, because we had the D7s in the original series, and then we have the Vorcha in the later shows, but the Bird of Prey just keeps coming back over and over and over. Let's see. There's Steven's $5 super chat. Thank you again. Yes, I'm happy if the writer and I forgot her name, but the current doctor are gone. That would be good. Pike show with the Captain April pilot episode leading into Pike taking command of the Enterprise. That actually is not a bad idea. I would not mind seeing that at all. Manny Koto could make Trek great again. A lot of people could make Trek great again, but will they? What's your favorite Starfleet starship and trigger? Mine is the NX-01. I go back and forth a little bit, but I really, really like the Connie. I really like the Miranda when it's done correctly.
Hello, world. It's BIRDOPREY.
Fire in the sky.
And
Good shooting, Mr. Scott.
now Mr. Miles is pretending to be Thomas Potts, saying, I apologize to Mr. Miles. Stargate is better. I admit it. Now, the reason that I know that was a fake one is because Thomas Potts always super chats, $1.99, $4.99, and all that. So a $1 donation is completely out of character for Thomas Potts. So sorry, saw right through that one, Mr. Miles. You fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on you more. Fool me 3 times, really shame on you. But fool me 4 times, and well, it's still your fault, but I'll take a little bit, like 5% of the blame. Why are you paying yourself? Wasn't me. And I already demonstrated why it's obviously fake. In Doctor Who, they need a good actress like Leslie Neal. Yes, they do. Well, yeah. How did Cap go back to the 40s to be with Peggy when none of the stones came from the 40s? Where did S.H.I.E.L.D. come from? There's a couple of good questions there, Darren. And and what I tend to think, and I know they're going to probably explain it in a future film, I think what happened was Cap went back to the 40s and created an alternate timeline in which he lived his life out in the past. Then he actually did jump forward, but he jumped forward to a little bit before he left, and so he was sitting on that park bench. And the reason I think that is because Bucky knew. Bucky knew what was going to happen before it happened. So I think Cap had already come back. And so if you rewatch that sequence, Bucky, when Cap is going, Bucky knows Cap ain't coming back. And Then when Bucky, well, of course, when Cap is going to give the shield to Sam, Bucky nods at him because Bucky knew that was the plan all along. So Bucky was in on the whole thing, and I think that it's going to take them time to reveal that. But I genuinely think that. I'm actually thinking about doing a video about that. Steven says, wasn't it in the comic story Nebula grabbed the gauntlet and Thanos kept her between life and death and messed up Thanos' whole mojo? Yeah, Nebula is actually the one who defeats Thanos in the Infinity Gauntlet. What happens is Thanos, after gaining the Infinity Gauntlet and all that, decides that he no longer needs to be a corporeal being, that he is like a god, so he's going to become like a god. So he slumps down in his throne and leaves his body to become one with the cosmos, supplanting eternity as the living embodiment of the universe. However, as he's doing that, since he's no longer in his physical body, Nebula walks up and slides the Infinity Gauntlet off of his lifeless hand and puts it on herself. And then everybody has to take on Nebula with the Infinity Gauntlet. Darren says, I didn't have a problem with the Defiant, Miranda, and Saber-class ship moving faster than the larger ships. Well, faster than, say, a Galaxy-class ship, sure, because a Galaxy-class ship is several times larger. But they shouldn't be moving 20 times faster than they did in Star Trek II. Sorry, I just don't buy that. At least not the Miranda class. Possibly, the Defiant should be more maneuverable, but I still think it's too maneuverable. And how many Romulan ships do we see in TNG? I believe 2. If I remember correctly, you see the Warbirds most of the time, and then there's a Romulan scout ship that we see a couple of times, and I think that's it. You never see plumbing on Star Trek. That is true. Hi, Checker. How's it going? Multi-Gunman. You'd have to rewind the stream a little bit. I explained my entire day. It's been hectic as all heck. I am sore, but I'm in a good mood overall. In no small part because of you guys and your crazy donations. And when I say crazy, I mean the silliness, not the dollar amount. But thank you so much. I really appreciate the cheering up. Whoever you are that pretended to be me and pretended to be Shatner and pretended to be CBS and pretended to be BIRDOPREY and all that, and the Telosians. Yes. Tell the truth. You love the Crawford class. Well, of course I'm biased, but now the Crawford class is being refit to fit into the Orville universe right now. Bucky was just surprised to see was just as surprised to see old Cap on the bench, though. No, he was not, Darren. I rewatched Endgame just a couple of nights ago, and no, he was not surprised. He turned and saw him, and then he looked at Sam, and he said, "Sam." I think he knew that was the plan. I can't wait to get my hands on Endgame DVD or digital release. I plan to put a few key edits into it. Why can't the Mirandas be more maneuverable in the 24th century? I'm not saying they couldn't, Darren, but I think that they took it too far. I'm not saying that they couldn't be improved from the 23rd century, but I still think that them zipping around like fighters, and I know Mr. Miles and I argue about it because he says they didn't zip around. They moved too fast for me. And they also, my biggest problem with Sacrifice of Angels isn't even the ship movement. It's the fact that there's no strategy in the fight. It's just and the fight makes no sense whatsoever. And in fact, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to do a complete breakdown of that battle and why it's the most unrealistic battle in Trek. Because it just drives me nuts every time I watch it. Even though I like the episode and the battle is exciting to watch, there's too many things there that just bug me. They do talk about the plumbing in Enterprise. Trip has to answer a poop question. I don't remember that, but you need that clip. We almost make your day complete. Yes, you do make my day complete. You guys are awesome, and I can't thank you enough for it. There are 2 different versions of the Romulan Scout. I know I have 2 models. Well, there you go, Thomas. Thank you. Then there are 3 Romulan ships in TNG. And Mr. Lundell confirms that. There's a Warbird, a scout ship, and a shuttle. There we go. I rewatched it today. Bucky was surprised. I would not call the look on his face surprise. I think that, if anything, maybe it's like, oh, hey, he made it. But I don't think it was like, oh, my God, he's there. He's old. I don't think that there was anything like that. Andrew, what do you think about the cutscene in Endgame kneeling after Iron Man's death? I think the scene should have been left in. I'm torn on it, Uncle Ramus. I liked it to a point. And June, thank you so much.
Fireman Scott. Good shooting, Mr. Scott.
June puts 5 fake Australian dollars into the chat and says, my pitch, gender bend Kirk, Spock, and Uhura, sci-fi, black exploitation, Shaft in space with 2 sexy ladies. Oh, man. That... I could actually see, as a parody, that could work. Anyway, as far as the kneeling thing, here's the thing about the kneeling scene. If you haven't seen it, the cut scene, to give you an idea, is right as Iron Man dies. Everybody kneels. They get on one knee to show their respect that the greatest hero of the MCU has passed away. And it's actually well shot, well executed overall. But I noticed something in this, and film is very symbolic. You have to really look at the way shots are framed and stuff like that sometimes to get the true meaning of it. And they made a very conscious effort in that scene to make the center of the scene not Iron Man, but Captain Marvel. The shot starts on Iron Man, pans out, and you see everybody. The music starts building as Captain Marvel kneels. Then the camera kind of swings around behind them, and Captain Marvel is square in the center of the group. She has, of all of the heroes, she's the one you can see the most clearly. They are symbolically saying, this is the future of the MCU. So I'm, in that respect, I'm glad that that they cut it. Because if that was the intent, I don't want that. Kronos says, glad to see you ranting again. Thank you, Kronos. Oh, if you only knew how we argued about how fast those ships were moving. I know, Mr. Miles and I really went at it. We truly did. Bucky is the one who noticed old Cap on the bench. He didn't know he was there.
Hello, world. It's BIRDOPREY.
Fireman Scott.
North Korea.
Good shooting, Mr. Scott.
Hello, world. It's BIRDOPREY.
Fireman Scott. Good shooting, Mr. Scott.
Somebody is having way too much fun with Streamlabs, but thank you. North Korea donated $1, said, thank you, BIRDOPREY, for selling us his territory and people. Yes, that is actually factual. And Mr. Scott said, aye, sir, the more they overthink the plumbing, the easier it is to stop up the drain. Here, doctor, souvenirs from one surgeon to another. Yes, I love that line. That is actually a good Scotty line there. All right. I'm glad the Avengers taking the knee was cut. I'm glad all the scenes that were cut, but especially the taking the knee moment. Here's the thing. Like I said, I think it's a well-done scene, but the way they framed it was clearly to try and elevate Captain Marvel. So in that respect, I'm glad they cut it. Look how fast Reliant got off the mat when Khan ordered full impulse. That shot from Enterprise view screen supports the theory that they could be upgraded to do that in the TNG era. I'm not arguing that it's not possible, but, like I said, I'll get into it. I'm going to have to do a video about that whole battle and why it bugs me. Andrew, you made my day so much better, Andrew. Thank you. Deadpool rumored to be at the end of Black Widow movie. Taskmaster walks into a bar and talks to Deadpool in a post-credit scene. That would be great if that would be a good way to introduce Deadpool into it, but we'll find out. I just hope it's good. Cronus is like, wow, North Korea. Yeah, apparently North Korea are big fans of BIRDOPREY, which doesn't surprise me. Josh says, Antrekker, with all those donations, Antrekker's head in the jar is going to get fat with marshmallows from Frosted Fruity Holes. No, now, come on. Nobody eats Frosted Fruity Holes.
The toast and eggs are really good, but there seems to be something missing. Yeah. That's what you're having for breakfast? That simply won't do. Follow me instead. What kind of place are you taking us to? A place that will introduce you to Frosted Fruity Hulls. Not only does it have 4 unique fruity flavors, but it also has a glazed frost that makes it extra yummy. How do they get so deliciously frosty? The frostiness of Frosted Fruity Hulls, of course, comes from this hull. Part of a complete nutritious breakfast.
Yes, everybody needs to have a bowl of Frosted Fruity Holes. The relative maneuvering speed of the smaller ships should be greater than the larger ones. No, I agree with that, Darren. That relatively speaking, the smaller the ship, the more maneuverable it should be. However, I just disagree that they should be moving as fast as they do in Sacrifice of Angels. I think that the larger ships should have slowed down a bit rather than make the smaller ships much faster. And see, Stanley says, we got the good stuff already. And Uncle Ernest says, yep, I miss hearing his voice already. Not sure what you're... Oh, the phase of movies that was last produced during Stanley's lifetime. Yeah, that is sad that we won't get to hear Excelsior anymore. Be sure to do my Hulk pilot before you eviscerate Sacrifice. Fair deal. I will. All right. There's my fart sound check. No, RMP. We're going to do the sound check right now, courtesy of Alexander. Let's do the sound check.
The board vessel's moving into range.
On screen.
Let's get lost in that magic place all alone now. Drink your fill from my fountain of love, wet your lips. I'm a man, I'm a teaser, I'm a man, well I'm a virgin, I'm a man, I'm a one-night stand, a man, I'm a man, I'm a man, I'm a dream, I'm a dream divine, make love together.
He's dead.
There we go. So, RMP, how many of your 7.1 speakers survive that? Blade Runner says, will this stream be available later? Not at home and would love to listen. Absolutely. And here's what you got to do, Blade Runner, is all of my live streams, they're archived. They go to unlisted after the stream is over. However, you can view every stream by going to antitrekker.com, and on the website, all the old streams are available. And so, yes, every stream, except for the occasional stream that I might delete if some information is accidentally leaked out that shouldn't be, like if we accidentally, we've had it a couple times like someone accidentally put their personal information in there, or I switched to a screen and oops, I didn't mean to show you guys something that had somebody's information, so I might delete those streams. But other than that, all the streams are still available right there. Vile Mike says, who's to say there's not some other modified Miranda class more maneuverable? Oh, I'm not saying it's not possible. I just don't like it. Answer, my Brad was talking Miranda class, basically NX size ship maneuvering more tightly and looking faster to the galaxy, and such type ships like they're standing still. Right. Well, and that's the thing. I think that they overdo it. That's honestly, that's the problem. How do you find unlisted? You can always, an unlisted video, if you have the link for it, it will play, but you have to have the link. And BIRDOPREY is correct. You can also copy the URL right now. Like if you copy the URL on your browser that's up there right now and save it, and then you bring it up later, it'll play this live stream. The only way that the link won't work is if the video is either set to private or deleted. However, it just goes to unlisted, which is all I ever do. then you can still view it as long as you have the link. And in fact, that's how, for those that are subscribers on antitrekker.com or Patreon, I put the link for the video when it's unlisted there the day before it actually goes public, so they can watch it the day before. And hopefully, if Mr. Miles and I can get on the ball and start getting more videos cranked out, people that are subscribers will start being able to get the videos several days ahead, because we'll start building up a backlog of videos. That's the goal. Corona says, Auntie moved and then stopped moving. Yeah, she does that sometimes. And you should look Tank Biathlon. This is amazing. I know you mentioned it the other day, Alexander, but right now I just got to get some rest. My old submarine could run rings around an aircraft carrier. Well, I don't doubt that, but I doubt that your submarine could maneuver like a frickin' speedboat, though. You get my point. Anyway, guys, I am going to wrap it up because I'm exhausted and Mrs. Antitrekker's waiting for me, and we're going to have dinner and watch a few episodes of Futurama and go to bed. So with that, thank you all for being with me. I do truly appreciate it. Whoever you were that was doing all the craziness in the donations, thank you, because they were hilarious. And I hope that tomorrow is a little bit more normal. Take care.
Thank you.